Yo, what's going on, guys? I wanted to make this video of my anime, manga, and character 3x3s. As you can tell, though, I said it's my favorite manga and anime. Initially, the plan was to go ahead and do a tier list of every anime I've watched for one video, every manga I've read for another video, and then I quickly realized both those videos combined together would be 2 hours or something like that. And of course, I'm not gonna fucking edit that and slave over that. Um, so instead, I came up with an old solution like some old people would do, who used to lurk in the anime community, and that is do a 3x3. So today, I have three 3x3 prepared. Of course, my character, manga, and anime. And we're gonna start with anime, go into manga, and then my characters. There will be timestamps in the description if you really want to skip around. I don't think I'm going to dwell on any of these too long. I do just want to say, though, most anime, manga, and characters I like, I don't have a great reason for them. Like, the deep dynamics between the deuteragonist characters and all this type of stuff. No, I'm just gonna be like, I like Escanor because he made this dude get on his fucking knees. Um, but yeah, so don't get mad at me if I don't elaborate amazingly on these. But either way, let's just do it. So I do want to apologize for the shit outcome of this. I didn't know how to do a 3x3 too great. Either way, this is kind of what you guys are gonna be getting. So we're just gonna go top left to bottom right. You know how it goes. Hunter x Hunter. This is for anime, and I think Hunter x Hunter is a great anime. Once you get into manga territory, I still think it's great, but I haven't gone too far into it. So for now, Hunter x Hunter is only in the anime category, and I think it's a really great anime. The power system, everything, the characters are great, and it's just great. I think York New is better than Chimera, but I think it's still a great shonen, honestly, and one of the best out there. And Togashi is really good at what he does. Um, Also, one thing you're gonna notice, a lot of shonen are on here. That's because I haven't really dove into seinen yet. And I do plan to take that plunge at some time though. Either way though, next one, Doctor Stone. Doctor Stone, I have a unique story about. The first season, I wasn't really too into it. I mean, I still enjoyed it and watched the first season, but I was kind of just neutral with the characters, didn't really care for them, and I watched it as it was airing, and it's one of the first anime I watched as it was airing. And so when the second season came out, I'll be honest, I cried at the first or second episode. There's a big moment for those who have watched it who know what's happened within the first two episodes. It's one of the first two, three, or something like that. A certain character shows up, and I it just triggered something in me. Maybe I was in the mood to cry. I don't know, but it's just honestly better than I remember, and I really enjoy Doctor Stone. I do plan to get into the manga. I have read ahead by like 50 chapters, but it's kind of hard to binge through Doctor Stone just because how dialogue heavy it is. Um, so for now, it'll stay on the anime 3x3, and I think it is a great series. Um, it made me cry twice. I want to clarify that. It just something in me, man. It just brought it out. Either way, though, the next one is Death Parade. Death Parade is a great series about death and life and stuff like that. I don't remember it greatly, so I do apologize. I just remember the themes and certain moments, and it's truly a great anime. And I don't believe through any of the episodes that I was ever bored. It constantly kept me entertained as I watched the episodes, and I think I finished in like 2 days, which is super rare, because I find binging anime to be painful. And this was just one that I just went through in 2 days and absolutely loved just about every second of it. The next one, Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. I didn't know I would like this. I was going on a road trip and just downloaded the whole first season to watch something in the car, and I ended up falling in love with this show. And maybe just the slice of life genre in general. I don't know, but I think Kyoto Animation, is it KyoAni? KyoAni, sorry, not Kyoto. KyoAni did an absolutely fantastic job with this first season. The second season has been phenomenal, and it's just truly a fun anime to watch. There's no deep themes or anything. It's just a fun ride throughout the whole thing. Anohana, the next one, is easily my favorite anime. I think of all these anime on here as my favorite, but anytime I think of Anohana, I truly only have praise for it. I think it's a great show, and it made me cry like a bitch, and even just hearing the music in it tear just gives me tears, and rewatching the final scene sometimes, not sometimes, every time I will cry. And like, if you don't believe me, there's no way to really prove it, but I was chilling like in this, there's no good way to describe it. I was chilling with friends, and we were just watching shit that we said was the saddest thing we saw. And so I said, play the final scene of Anohana, play hide and go seek. And we watched it, nobody cried, and I was sitting there crying. This anime, it's just truly beautiful. I mean, I love everything about it. The characters, the story, the themes, it's just truly beautiful. Uh Mob Psycho, also another great anime that also made me cry. It's just so good. The first season being Mob, there's no good way to describe Mob Psycho besides the perfect anime, really. I see nothing wrong with it, and I think the only reason it's below Anohana is because of my connection to Anohana. But I think Mob Psycho is the perfect anime, if that makes sense. It's just amazing. Mob's journey and the animation, the antagonist, everything about it is truly perfect. And seeing Mob as a character develop is one of the greatest journeys ever. The next anime, Code Geass. What can I say? I had the perfect run with Code Geass. I didn't get spoiled on a single thing. I just stumbled across it on Netflix one night, and I was like, okay, I'll watch this. And watched a couple episodes, and then blazed through the rest of the series, and it's just truly amazing what it does, and I do think the second season drags at parts. But besides that, I think the peaks of the show very much so outweigh the low points to where it is one of my favorites, especially with the ending and the Requiem of Zero. It is just great seeing Lelouch as a character develop, seeing all these different characters just interact. It's just amazing and a fun watch. My least favorite thing about it is honestly probably, I don't even know. It's just greatness the whole time. Yeah. The next anime though, Fate Zero, I do feel like I have a little bit of recency bias to this because yet again, so initially I watched the first season about a year or two ago and was like, damn, this shit's fucking ass. Fate is terrible. Why do people like this doo-doo stinky garbage, right? And then I go on a road trip. I downloaded the second season because I was like, fuck it, bro. I got nothing better to watch. Let's watch Fate Zero and see if it really is shit. Watched the second season, and goddamn, I was creaming in my pants, dude. Fate Zero first season becomes from one of the most boring roller coaster rides ever to a fucking upside down loop de loop amazing ride that you never want to get off of, and it's really great seeing the themes battle, and I really like Saber not being the main character and there really not being a main character, and seeing the Holy Grail War just be this amazing battle of people's ideology, and seeing Kiritsugu's just everything about Kiritsugu and the antagonist whose name I'm blanking on, and seeing Ryder and just all these amazing characters, Gilgamesh. It's just so good of a story to see the buildup of the first season that, yes, is very fucking boring and slog heavy, with the first episode being an hour, to then becoming the absolute flash of season two that just flies by with no dull moments, in my opinion, and is truly amazing when it comes to the character interaction and the beautiful fights. This next one is Haikyuu. I think Haikyuu is a great anime. I've not read the manga, but I am up to date with the anime, and I think it's just phenomenal seeing Hinata as a protagonist learn about this sport and become better to achieve his dream is just truly fun to watch his journey with his team. Forgive me for not remembering many of their names, um but man, it's just one of the greatest anime out there. And as stupid as it sounds, at points you do feel like you're a part of the team. You want to see them win, you don't want to see them lose. That's just how connected you get to these characters, and it's amazing. um, but either way, enough with the anime 3x3 though. Sorry about rambling about some and others not having clear statements, I'm not great at this, so forgive me. Most of the time I work with a script or I just talk, you know. But finding reasons as to why I like things is not something I'm great at. So bear with me here. As we go on to the manga one. Now, sorry for this one looking a little more shit, as you can see, nowhere near as even as the other one. So you're just gonna have to stick with me there. Either way though, like I said, top left to bottom right. Let's get it. Blue Box. Blue Box is truly just one of the most, I don't know how to describe it, pretty manga in the Shonen Jump roster right now. Whether it comes to the characters, facial expressions, the art in general, and the story just being something that is so basic and yet so nice. And I think the one complaint I hear from other people as they talk about this story is it doesn't dive deep enough into the sports, or it doesn't dive deep enough into the romance. And perfectly, in my opinion, as someone who is very neutral to both these and doesn't go out of my way to read either of them, um, I think this story is absolutely amazing. It does the sports just great as you want to see sports, and the romance has truly beautiful romance moments that I think everyone can come to enjoy. The next one is going to be Fire Force. Fire Force, it wasn't on the anime 3x3 because I think Fire Force works way better as a manga, whether it comes to the pacing and ecchi scenes that I hear a lot of people complain about how the ecchi takes away from the pacing, when in the manga it truly does not. And that's why I think the manga is the superior version, also because the story in the manga has developed so greatly. I will try not to get into spoilers, but it has truly become just this amazing thing to see Okubo take this basic world of fire people and firefighters who fight them into this amazing mesh of just entertaining themes, characters, and powers. And it all seems to make sense at the end of the day, at least in my mind. I don't think there's really any ass pulls, and it has just some great characters in it too. And I absolutely love Fire Force. Next year we got Boys Abyss, and man, what to say about Boys Abyss? Truly, I haven't read too many great manga, if I'm being honest. I think I've read a fair share, around 40, and Boys Abyss is just one of those that's different from every other manga I've read. And the only manga I hear people compare it to is somewhat like Poon Poon, which I will eventually read, and people say this is the more subtle Poon Poon or something like that, along the lines of comparing it to Poon Poon and saying it's like that, and it kind of just gives off a vibe I've never really felt in any other manga as I read it. Like, it's just great to see Reiji's struggle getting out of this town, because you hope eventually he will, but with the next chapter, you never know what might happen to his future plans. And also, the characters that are intertangled with him wanting to escape. It's just truly like no other story I've ever read at this point. And I think for that reason, the uniqueness of it, I absolutely love it. If you guys do want to hear me talk about this more, though, shameless plug, video link in the description of me talking about it on my other channel. Same for the Fire Force. Uh, Next one is, as stupid as this sounds, the manga that got me into manga. And no, I'm not saying I saw the Chainsaw Man trailer and immediately read 50 manga. No, I've been reading manga for about 2 years now, and Chainsaw Man was about at 10 chapters, and so I was going on a flight, and I downloaded the Shonen Jump app because I wanted to read My Hero. Uh, and then realized I could only read the most recent three and the first three without paying. And I was like, screw you, I'm not going to pay. And so instead, I just scrolled through and I found Chainsaw Man, only about 10 chapters in. And I read the first three and I immediately became hooked. We took the flight, we landed in LA or something like that. And then I immediately paid for the app, read the rest of Chainsaw Man, and the rest is history. It's just an absolute great series. Uh, and it's honestly, um it's compared to the newer shonen slash seinen kind of genre that we have been seeing with Jujutsu Kaisen and Hell's Paradise and Dandadan. And I really think out of all those, it is the best purely because of Denji as a character and the journey he goes through and the antagonistic forces he faces, being the devils and characters, and it's truly just one of the most enjoying thrill rides as you either read chapter to chapter, rereading chapters weekly just because it was that great, or binge reading through the whole thing and loving every single moment of it. I do not think there is a single bad moment in Chainsaw Man where I found myself saying, get me to the next chapter, get me away from wherever we're at, because every moment I was glued to Denji's story as we see him grow as a character and achieve his goals. Next one is another, or rather not another for the manga, but just a very recency biased manga of Tokyo Revengers. Everybody started reading it once the anime came out. I got about 5 episodes into the anime as it was releasing weekly and realized I could not wait anymore. And so I binged the whole manga in about 3 nights. And it's just an absolute thrill ride seeing Takamichi go through all these different challenges he's faced with and fighting with the Tokyo Manji gang, and then later getting antagonistic forces you didn't expect, and seeing the story just truly grow and seeing the characters of the story achieve what they want. Now, this manga is not a perfect one, though. I do think there was a set ending point that anybody who is caught up to the manga will know, and I think that would have been a perfect place to end it. But of course, I'm not going to complain. This current arc has been absolutely phenomenal, and it's just one of the most enjoyable series on here that, like Chainsaw Man, has me going from chapter to chapter, loving every second of it. Now, this next manga is a much more quiet manga, if that makes sense. It's not one that you feel the hype of Chainsaw Man or Tokyo Revengers through. It's more somber as you read it. It's a story of Musashi's growth as he truly finds what it means to be the strongest and how to live his life properly and be with the people he loves. And I do want to preface me saying anymore. I am only about 80 chapters into the story, and so I know I may be jumping the gun early to saying this is a great manga, and maybe it does go downhill, but from what I hear, it does not, and I love every second of it. I read the first 3 volumes in roughly 2 hours, and it's just a great series. I think the other characters in it, who, forgive me for blanking on their names right now, are just fantastic. And I do want to pick up Vagabond sometime in the future. And so I know I will absolutely make a video talking about it. But for now, that's all I really have to say about it. Is that the characters are amazing. Of course, everybody knows the art is just phenomenal, and seeing Musashi go through this struggle is one of the greatest things to read. Now this next one, D Man, easily recency bias. I just finished reading. I shouldn't say finished. Caught up to reading this yesterday, and Jesus Christ, it is one of the greatest shonens ever. Truly underrated by the masses. Alan Walker is an amazing protagonist as you get sprinkled in his backstory and just all these different things about him, and as you learn more about this world and the Millennium Earl and the struggles Alan faces both personally and externally against the world is amazing, and he is a great protagonist. I also think another thing I enjoy about this series is the power system elaborating on itself and becoming something deeper, and the plot twists it'll take. Because honestly, reading the first 20 or so chapters of D Greyman, it is very enjoyable, but it hits a point where you're like, okay, what's going to happen? And then you get to chapter 30 and you learn more, and then you just keep enjoying and keep enjoying it. I think chapter 80, you meet some key players and it becomes absolutely amazing. And then chapter 130 or something like that, you just get these amazing revelations and things start turning, and everything is so amazing in D Gray Man. It's just one of the most enjoyable series I think I've ever read. And I don't think there's ever a truly dull moment within it. I think it is an upward read, if that's how you would describe it. Where the more you read, the more you start to enjoy it. Because I know, a couple years ago, I picked up the first volume, read it, and was not interested in the story. And so that's one thing I do have to say about it is that you have to be in the right mood to truly read to Greyman. But once you're in that right mood, it just hits the spot, and it's an amazing series. Now, this next one I'll make quick, just because, as you can see, we're about like 20 minutes into recording here. Attack on Titan. It's just a great series. The start, it is a very basic shonen, to which it then becomes an amazing series with Eren, and then to the end, which, although not a great end, it still ended this series, and the highs are so high that it balances out with the lows to still be one of the greater series I've read. Yeah, and then One Piece, absolute classic. No bad things to say about One Piece. It's just an amazing shonen, and I don't really want to elaborate it more because I know everybody has heard 1,000 different reasons why One Piece is the greatest anime or manga ever. So we'll just get into the characters because I know at least these are unique to me. Hopefully. So here we go. We got. Oh, why am I blanking on his name? We got dude from No Longer Human. Uh, I think No Longer Human. The reason that protagonist is on this list, and please forgive me for forgetting his name, is because the story is about his downfall, as you can tell, no longer human. And so I want to say the story is great. The story is great, but it's his story. And so as a character, I think he is just one of the more gritty, gruesome protagonists of any series I've ever read, as he downfalls into a terrorist organization and into drug problems and into all these different things, into abuse and into his abuse and being sexually assaulted and him living this terrible life. It all shows us that he's just this terrible character created from having a terrible past, you know? And I think he's just great. Next we have Lelouch. Everybody knows Lelouch. Everybody knows why he's great, so we'll skip that one. We got Shoya from A Silent Voice. I mean, he's just a great protagonist when it comes to him wanting to be forgiven and all these different things, and he as stupid as it sounds, I could really relate to him in self-insert, not with bullying a deaf girl or wanting to kill myself, you know. I promise you guys I'm not like that. Um, but rather him looking back on the past and wanting to fix his wrongs and slowly trying to become more social. Because I'll be honest, I'm in a social shell right now. I don't talk to too many people besides my group of friends. Wow, that was a little difficult to get out, you know. And so seeing him also break out of his bubble, and I will be honest, you know, this should all be praised for the character, but Silent Voice itself is just beautiful. I cried multiple parts in the movie, and I think him as a protagonist, the reason I like him the most is because I can self-insert with the wanting to fix your past and be forgiven and just becoming more social. Next we have Mob. Mob is just a great character. Seeing him develop from a quiet, shy kid to standing up for what he wants and protecting what's important to him, and seeing him go over his limit and go crazy. It's just one of the most enjoyable things to see. And then we also got Musashi. As I said, just everything I elaborated on Vagabomba with Musashi. Then we got Denji. As I said, Denji just growing up in a childhood of abuse and neglect, and then finally finding that love, but from the wrong place, just makes him such a phenomenal protagonist that he's just one of my favorites. And then next, like I said, man, recency bias. Alan Walker, man, he is just one of the greatest protagonists I think in any shonen series. Now, this next one is gonna be very big spoilers on Fire Force. So if anyone is not caught up, then I would recommend skipping uh why I talk about Arthur. Um, yeah, I think he's a great character, but definitely skip ahead to the timestamp I have posted. So Arthur, uh, he made me cry, dude. Arthur goes from a character who is, I don't know how to describe it, just uh fully engaged in his imagination, and that's where all of his strength comes from, to then he's just an amazing character, to being just it's absolutely beautiful. His end, I cried like a bitch. I love Arthur. Arthur is a phenomenal character. I do not see anything wrong with him. I think he is one of the greatest side characters ever, and his story is truly beautiful, whether it comes to his family leaving him and all these other things that I just don't know how to put into words, make him such a great character in my mind. And then next, finally, we have Tanaka from Haikyuu. Tanaka is a character I expected nothing from besides being the hype man to about the, I believe it's the most recent season having his moment of growth. As someone who has played sports my whole life, seeing Tanaka have the same problem as I did, of knowing I'm not gonna be the best. I'm always gonna be slacking behind. Um, I took the mindset of, if that's the case, I'm gonna put my time into something else, and so I quit baseball. But seeing him say, "Fuck that." I'm gonna keep going, and I'm gonna support my teammates, and I'm gonna be the best I can be. It just really made me full bitch cry, because it just, you know, I personally linked to it, and I realized my mistakes. And of course I can't go back now, you know, but it's still just beautiful to me, and he is one of my favorite characters ever, as weird as that may seem. But yeah, that's the video, you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed seeing my 3x3s here. I know it's a longer video, but hopefully you guys stuck with me till the end here. Thanks for watching. If you did enjoy, please don't forget to like and subscribe. This did take quite a bit of time to make and come up with. If not, then hey, whatever. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Peace.